so my camera died, but I got the new oil pump in, new crank sensor, and I transferred over the gear and the sprocket from the LS to run the crank sensor. I got the new tensioner on, the new water pump it's on. Timing's still good. Now we can just put on the timing belt. Really shouldn't be that difficult to do. So let me show you guys a little secret I've learned years ago. If you get some Allen wrenches, you shove them in these little holes up here. The cams also have a little hole. If you shove it through the top, it fits right in there, and they'll keep the cams from spinning. Now, why don't you want the cams to spin while you're installing the timing belt? Because if any of this moves while installing the timing belt, your timing will be off and your engine won't fire correctly. But on your crank gear, there's a little line, should line up with this little arrow that's on an oil pump, as well as your timing belt cover. Which, by the way, if you're running a lower timing belt cover, you need to use the one from your USDM motor because it has this little notch. As you can see, the difference between a JDM lower cover and a USDM. It has that little notch out for the crank sensor. So let's go ahead and get the timing belt on. The way I found out the easiest to do it is to start on the exhaust side, bring it down to the crank, the driver's side on, is you want to turn the crank the opposite way. So all of this will time, and the loose of the belt will be on this side. So you're going to just slightly turn it left. There you go. So see, loosen. It's perfect. So now what you want to do is tighten up the tensioner to 40 pounds of torque. Perfect. And these ones to 54 pounds of torque. And you do have to change out your driver's side mount bracket from your USDM Integra if you're doing a B20 into your Integra or Civic, because they are different. Alright, welcome back to another day. Today we're going to go ahead and finish getting the engine prep. All we have to do is just put on the intake manifold and then slap it in the car. Hopefully get it running. Actually, let me go ahead and put you guys in the GoPro. So from what I remember, GoPro audio was not the best. Years ago, I used to motovlog. Now, I don't know if you guys know what motovlogging is. Well, I'm pretty sure by now you guys all know what motovlogging is. But I used to motovlog. I used to ride a motorcycle and record myself talking. It's gonna be a little fucking baby woolly. Pretty good. That is actually what we're going to be doing today. We're going to do a motovlog style build where I just walk around and I'll talk to you guys. So my son was still struggling getting this stuff off, so let's see if we can do some damage without actually doing any damage, if you know what I'm saying. Before I wanted to make the channel a car channel, I used to motovlog, and I was actually pretty good at that. You might be wondering, oh, why'd you stop? I just didn't want to do it anymore, you know. Like, I want to venture out to somewhere new, something different. So, picking this up.
And the reason I decided to start doing this was, growing up, I was really big into Hondas. I've always been into Hondas. I had owned many Hondas. My very first Honda actually was a 1990 Honda Civic. It came with the D15 B2. I believe they're dual points. I think within a month of owning it, the motor actually blew on it, so I had to track down another engine, and I did. I found a whole complete swap, engine, transmission, harness, ECU, everything for like $50. I bought it locally off of a forum called AZHT, which was Arizona Honda Tech or something, and I bought it on there for $50. He said he got it from a repoed car. The way you translate repo, that's on you guys, but I mean, fuck it. I believe 15 or 16. I think I was 15. Had my Honda. I was excited. I bought what kind of suspension did I buy for it? I think it was Tokiko Blues with red drop zone lowering springs, and the engine blew on it. So for $50, I went and bought a new engine. I did not know a lick of working on Hondas. Back then, we had this wonderful thing called Honda forums. Not like the Facebook pages now. Like, it was an actual, for you youngins, a Honda, or a forum in general, is a website where you would go and there'd be a community based of people who share the same interests as in you. My case, it was Hondas. I went on there and I was like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm wanting to swap in a dual point for a dual point because my dual point decided to not be a dual point anymore. And like every forum back then, with a bunch of helpful people, they all said the same thing. Use the search button, bro. So like every other person, new person needing help would comment. I did did use the search button, nothing came up. And then usually it'd be a nice person who was like an asshole, but it was pretty nice because they would be like, here, I found it with 2 seconds of searching, D15 B2 swap. Either way, I think that swap took me literally a month to do, and I would work on it every day. It was insane. I would sit outside the house, my parents' house, with the laptop, following step-by-step videos, because back then YouTube wasn't really that big, so it ain't like big where you can search, hey, K20 swap, and then there's someone step-by-step video on how to do a K20 swap. It wasn't like that back then. Googling different websites to how to do a Honda swap. So, I would sit outside my parents' house working on it. I took it apart. I finally did my D15B swap. Now, what I didn't know, which later on I found out from the guy who sold me, that swap only had like 20,000 miles on it. Because back then the EF Civic wasn't like super old. It wasn't super rare either. It was still out. So it was still like fairly new. 15-year-old car, still fairly new. So it like 20 or 30,000 miles on it. It was healthy. It was super healthy. I did what every other Honda owner did back then. Intake, exhaust. I don't think I ever did headers on it because it was a dual point. And I would mob it to car meets and car race. And then, I would race it. It's a dual point, but I would race. But yeah, that was some interesting story about my first Honda. Now, since then, I was hooked on Hondas, mainly because of my older cousin. He owned a 2001 Acura Integra GSR.
Okay, so we got the engine prepped up, ready to go in. But here's the engine, ready to go in. Got the alternator, got the engine harness on there. Valve cover, all the accessories in the front, they're gonna go on afterwards. So let's go ahead and put this in here.
They're not going in.
Get it in there. Like I said, you want me to pull the engine up, or you got it?
I got it.
All right, so currently he's tightening up the rear T-bracket. Try it again. Try it again. Hold on. Close the key. Go. Alright, go.
Why would you do that?
Woo!
Why would you do that?
To check to see if it has spark. It has spark. Oh, god damn. Woo! Go. Alright, one last time. Go. Go. Alright. Turn it off. So we got to tear apart the head.